The City of Plymouth City Council regular meeting for Thursday, October 25th is called to order. Could we have a roll call, please? Yeah. Okay.
Get our report on YouTube.
So it's recording.
It's being recorded. We can just keep, you can keep trying to get it, but at least we have one recording, so get started.
Roll call. Councilmember White.
Here.
Councilmember Sim.
Here.
Councilmember Russo.
Here.
Vice Mayor Ackerman. And so today, Mayor Kleinfelder. Here. Thank you. Councilmember Sim, would you lead us off in the Pledge of Allegiance? Would everyone please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no invocation tonight, so the next thing on the agenda is approval of the City Council regular meeting agenda for August 25th, 2022. I would entertain a motion.
I'm going to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the meeting agenda for this evening as presented. All those in favor, representing gallery. I'm going to do that forever. Roll call, please. Roll call. Councilmember White.
Aye.
Councilmember Sim.
Aye.
Councilmember Russo.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ackerman is absent. Mayor Kleinfelder. Aye. Thank you. Item number 3 on the agenda is public comment. We will open up public comment. We have one comment card. It's regarding an Amador fire update, and do yell at me if I say it wrong. Mark Jukes?
Jukes, got it, that's right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone here tonight on behalf of Chief White. He's got some family issues going on right now that he's dealing with, and County Chief Watkins is working with the volunteer program up in Lubbock tonight. So I'm going to ask you a quick update on the goings on with Denver Fire over the last month. High points, we just had 2 different engine companies come back from deployment up to the fires north in the state, as well as 2 chief officers. So that's a total of 8 personnel and 2 engines around the county for approximately 2 weeks. During that time, we're able to keep full staffing of the rest of our stations. The other upcoming events of interest is we've joined forces with Lockwood Fire to hold a volunteer academy here in the county. Amarillo Fire will be receiving about 6 fully trained volunteers to be ready to start helping staff stations and backfill behind engine companies towards the end of the year. So we're looking forward to having increased volunteer presence. And as far as calls go, within the city of Plymouth, during the month of July, we ran 10 medical aids, 2 traffic collisions, 5 public assists, 5 calls were dispatched and canceled en route before arriving, 3 false alarms, and the rest of what we refer to as the Battalion 20, so Willow Creek, Stilltown, the unincorporated areas of Plymouth. We ran a total of 16 medical aids, 5 traffic collisions, 4 vegetation fires, 3 public assists, 1 smoke check, 4 false alarms, and 3 calls were dispatched and canceled route. So that's all I have for you guys. Unless you have any questions that I can relate to the command staff if they were required.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other public comment in City Hall? Is there any public comment on Zoom? Please push *9 to wave.
No, what I see.
We'll close public comment at this time. Item number 5 on the agenda is the consent calendar. I would entertain a motion or discussion.
I make a motion to accept the consent calendar as presented. I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar as presented. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Councilmember Sim,
Aye.
Councilmember Amarisa,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Afterland is absent. Mayor Kleinfelder,
Aye.
thank you.
Item number 7 on the agenda is regular agenda items. 7.1, City Council discussion and voting direction to the council delegate representing the City of Plymouth interests at the League of Cities annual business meeting. Anyone have any comments? Did everyone get to read through the proposed bylaws changes? I'm good with them if it,
Yeah, I know that. That's fine.
so,
Outrageous. I'm gonna keep this though and take it with. Just that.
Frank, do we, because we can do this by consensus, since we have approved.
Yeah, it's just discussion and recommendation. Just make sure to public comment.
Is there any public comment regarding those changes to the League of California Cities? Is there any public comment on Zoom?
Raised hand.
Okay. Do we want to start the
Yeah.
video? Hey, it's Marie and Judy.
Your favorite.
The Marie and Judy show. Hey, we're a little bit lost here, so we apologize. So we're on what, 7.1?
Correct.
Okay, because we had questions about something you guys already passed, and that was the minutes that were approved from the minutes from last meeting. So we didn't know how to respond to that.
Okay, generally, for future reference, generally, if you have a question regarding something that's in the consent calendar, not just the minutes, anything else on there, you would contact a council member and they would propose to pull that item off the consent calendar and agendize it for discussion. As long as it remains in the consent calendar, it's considered routine business and approved as a package. Is that?
Yeah, and I would also add the other option is just to simply, you can also submit comment for the vote on the consent calendar as well. So it's a couple different ways.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you, Frank.
What I was saying was you could contact a council member if you see something on the agenda and they could discuss it, or when the item is consent calendar is called, and before the vote is taken, you can also request public comment, just like you would on the other item.
Oh, okay, because we were kind of waiting until y'all said anybody have a public comment, and that didn't happen, and you went on to the next item, so we just were kind of waiting, so, okay. All right, so we lost our chance to say.
Well, I think in the interest of giving them an option, we should give them an option now.
Right.
Because they should have the option on all consent calendars. So if we missed that, we apologize. I apologize.
Oh, no
Okay.
worries, we're just trying to better understand so we don't mess up.
I just wanted to clarify in the comments
It says, Marie and Judy commented on bills that are paid through the Zinfandel Services District Fund and accounting of that fund. Basically, I had requested it be put on a future agenda. So I don't know if that's one and the same, but it just said we made a comment, but I was actually making a formal request that we could get an accounting on the agenda for the future.
I think I can settle this quickly, because when we get to the area of the agenda where we have each council member identifies future agenda items, I will be sure to add that to mine, which will serve the same purpose. How is that?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That's great. We just, we were following the rules last time, by what you said, Valerie, that we needed to actually request it, and then we went back and requested it, and then we didn't see it in the notes, so we're not sure if it officially got requested or not, or what. So that's why we're asking.
Well, there's another option too. Even though I will request the agenda item, I think that you could send a note in, a written notice, an email, requesting a correction to the minutes. And even though we have technically approved those minutes, it could be readdressed for a correction if the council deemed that that was an error or an omission.
Okay.
How's that, Frank?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's clear that ultimately the minutes are the body's minutes, the city council's minutes, so you're allowed, like any other public comment, to say, hey, I think these minutes could be corrected to do this, and usually the council's pretty receptive to that, but ultimately it's the city council as the legislative body, it's their minutes, and they'll make the final decision. You're welcome to request it as part of the public comment process, like you would anything else. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your participation. So we have consensus on 7.1. We recommended that Council Member Amoruso approve of the proposed bylaws. 7.2 on the agenda is City Council discussion and direction regarding city's financial status and budget update. Your mic's on, Peter, you got something to say?
Sorry.
Oh.
Just never shut it off. I'm like, what?
Well, I wanted to point out to everyone that this is a preliminary draft, and a lot of the information, and it's projected information. Even the closeout for the current fiscal year we're in is a projected ending.
Super rough.
So it's a rough, that's a good way to put it,
Super rough.
a rough draft. And I think what I would like to do is have more time with my yellow highlighter with doing a more in-depth markup. But Dana, is Michael on the line?
No.
Okay. So given that, what I would propose is that each of us provide, if we have them, provide a list of written questions during the next week or so that can come up on the next draft discussion.
I agree.
Does staff concur? Okay. So we are moving on to item number 8 on the agenda, council staff communications. 8.1 is the city manager's report. Okay, so our next scheduled meeting would be September 8th, which is during the League of Cities. I don't know if council is looking to cancel that meeting
or move ahead with it. I'm not sure how many council members are even going to League of Cities at this point.
They better have reservations to come.
Yeah, there's no
Well, I
hotel.
mean, well, no, I mean, even for the conference itself, I don't think you can pay at the door. You have to prepay. Yeah, so.
We generally cancel that meeting during the league meeting, don't
Yeah,
yes, so what would happen is the council could be placed in a position, because we know two council members will already be absent. And if something occurred that day and another couldn't be here, we would lack a quorum. Correct, so it might be more prudent just to say, we're canceling that meeting.
Yeah, I think that's what we've done in the past, and not that I matter, but I will also be at the League's in Cal City, so I won't be available either, so.
Yes, you do matter.
amen.
Okay, the second thing I wanted to mention is, I've been in contact with the county assessor's office and Brian Onetto regarding the loan we had that went to the FEMA portion of the Arroyo ditch from 2017. It had a 5-year grace period on it, and that grace period is now over. Surprise. So we have been talking back and forth. The assessor's office has been very gracious in trying to help us out. We didn't know this, it's not in the budget, but our payment was supposed to be, our first payment in May of 2022, which we were not aware of. And I understand that because this set for 5 years, so I don't even know if all our last administrative people even knew that this was coming down the line, because this is back from Jeffrey Gardner, which was quite a few managers ago. So the assessor's office is open to us having a longer grace period so we can get everything together and budget for it. Their suggestion was July 1st, 2023, so that it would coincide with our new budget year. I also talked to Brian Onetto because this is going to have to be agendized on the Board of Supervisors meetings, and I didn't want somebody to see it and go, "You didn't tell me we're on a board meeting." But Brian's willing to take it forward to get a vote on it from Board of Supervisors for us. Him and the assessor's office are very understanding of our situation we're in now, and it really wouldn't affect anything in one way or another, other than giving us a chance to get staff in here and prepare for it. Because it's a $150,000 loan over 10 years. That's it.
I have a kind of a crazy question about that loan. And because and I understand we can still do business and everything else. Is there any way that we can work some COVID magic into that? I call it COVID magic, but because we went through 2 years of COVID.
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by COVID magic. I can tell you, if you're looking for other funding, I mean, that's a financial thing that we would have to research on. I can tell you that the county is very open to giving us extra time, but they are not as open to forgive the loan, which I understand. But that's kind of where we are right now.
And I guess, and I'm sorry that I call it COVID magic or whatever, I should say COVID grace. Because, things were just haywire for the last 2 years.
And I think that's what you were talking
Yeah.
about, is using it for part of when we had someone advocate for us, using that as part of the argument that having an extension makes sense.
Yes, and that, like I said, I mean, I can't project what the board will vote, but I can tell you that the assessor's office is very open to an extension. And like I said, Brian's very open to leading this for us and taking it to the board. So I think we probably have a very good chance at an extension if council believes that they want to see a larger extension than what has been suggested, then if you let me know, I can move that information forward. I don't know how it will be taken on the other end, but I mean, we can try if you think you need 2 years instead of 1.
What I would like to see is this issue agendized for the next meeting that we're having with a staff report that includes background, where we are, how we got where we are, and each of the options moving forward. So that would be for the next, after September 9th, or it's 8th, which one I have. So.
Okay, let me reach out to the county again. I'm not saying they'll change their mind, but we definitely want to keep them in the loop and see how the assessor's office feels about delaying the decision a little bit.
Well, we don't really have a choice to delay or not delay the decision because it's not on the agenda. So
Yeah, council can't really give direction or anything on this. It's supposed to be a brief report. So talk to the county. If we have to, we can call this all Zoom special meeting to address it, but unfortunately, we can't get into the weeds on this issue right now.
thank you very much, Kathleen. 8.2 of the agenda is mayor and council members' reports. Council member Sim.
Interim City Manager Kathleen Johnson, Jim Wise, and I attended a webcam meeting last week with the Caltrans team regarding the walking trail. We were shown a preliminary concept drawing of the 10-foot wide walking bike trail that goes from Zimdale Parkway to the roundabout. The trail crosses over Highway 49 at Veterans Park with a spur into the park. Caltrans offered several concept drawings that are designed to improve the roundabout appearance. The project team has a manager as well as a design engineer. Everything appears to be moving forward in a very positive way. I think Kathleen would agree that they also seem very, very positive and very excited about this project. We had lots of questions with them, and I was of the feeling that when we had this meeting, that they had done other projects similar to it. It turns out they have not. This is kind of a unique project for Caltrans. Obviously unique for Plymouth as well. But anyway, I think that everything is moving ahead. It appears that by the first part of next year, they will go to bid, and project appears to going to start in and around March of next year. Any questions?
I just want to make sure that the council is involved in the decision-making with Caltrans, and that we clarify, we put it on an agenda for a discussion, perhaps a presentation, and we clarify the sequel portion of the project, and because this requires a lot of public input, which at this point hasn't happened.
It has not happened yet. They did talk about they were going to do an outreach, and they weren't too clear on how they were going to perform that, but it was very clear they are going to do an outreach. I can share with you some of the drawings that I have with council, but they're all preliminary, right, Kathleen? I was quite impressed with what they've done so far. They seem to be very active in this process. Any more questions? Thank you.
Councilmember Amelissa.
I've gotten nothing. Last week.
Council, that's for the White.
Yeah, last week I went to a vintners, I guess, workshop, I call it, was over at the county buildings, kind of over permitting, to have a winery in the county and, have restaurants at your winery, not have restaurants at your winery. And signage, a lot about signage, I guess the new thing, that a lot of people are having a hard time is those sandwich board signs are starting to go up all around there. And, just a big discussion. Huh? Yeah, just a big discussion. But talking with some of the vendors there, and just trying to have an understanding of how we correlate us as the gateway to the Shenandoah Valley was pretty interesting. And of course, there's a lot of concern about that across the street. So I just wanted to have you guys an update on that.
Thank you. My report is not really a report of being at meetings, sir. I just wanted to again reiterate my thanks to our staff for hanging in there with us through some pretty difficult times in the last year and a half. Well, the beginning of COVID on, it's been trying, is one way to put it. And now everybody's stepping up to the plate and probably doing job duties that is out of what they thought they were going to be doing right now. So I want to thank our staff for that. Are there any future agenda items?
What's your,
I say that we put Hawks View on every agenda.
I agree. That's what that damn thing's dealt with.
So I did want, yes, I did want to ask that we place the issue that was brought up for an accounting. And I don't know, I don't want to promise the very next meeting because if we want to have incredibly accurate information for you. But I want that on a future agenda, the accounting for the funds that are being used. On that note, this council is going to move into a closed session and we have to kick everyone out. And off. 99. We'll be back after we close the
Council considered 3 items in closed session and was provided information, was provided direction, no watch. Watching forever.
I have some thoughts on that too. Start looking